Welcome to the Ozone.
Hello and welcome to the Ozone. I'm your host, Jeff Hazard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at the college. And on today's episode, we are going to welcome in and spend a little time with 2021 Hall of Fame inductee, Andrea Bradford Decker. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the Hall of Fame committee, we would like to congratulate you, boy, if I can get that right, congratulate you on your induction into our Hall of Fame, and certainly a well-deserved honor.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very humbled by it.
Well, I was going to ask you, we start with it, just say, what kind of feelings do you have about now being considered a Hall of Fame softball player?
I don't know. Part of me feels like I don't deserve it because I don't know. I loved playing, and that's
right.
all I wanted to do, play. But I definitely humbled. I'm very grateful.
Right. Well, certainly, just so some of the people at home will find out you were a 4-time All-Conference, 3-time All-Region. You played on a couple of SUNY championship teams. You went to the NCAA tournament a couple of times. 4-year starting catcher. It's really funny because earlier, we also being inducted, Chris Williams, he was a 4-year starting catcher for the baseball team. So this year we've got 2 catchers going in, which is probably the hardest position in both sports. So it's really kind of unique. And when you get a chance to meet him in June, I'm sure you'll have plenty of stories from behind the plate, right?
Oh, yes, for sure. That'd be a nice conversation to have.
Yeah. So I really would like to start about, why did you choose Oneonta, and how'd you find your way here?
Well, I know my steps were ordered, even if I really wasn't aware of what I was deciding back then. I was a late bloomer in all respects. So, but I feel a big part of my reason for attending Oneonta, both of my aunt and uncle, who are married, my father's sister and her husband, they attended Oneonta, and I don't know, not that I really remember specific stories that they had other than, oh, it's beautiful up there, and that's when we got our education degrees. And I don't know, I remember touring, and I enjoyed the campus, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Pretty
simple. And the fact that they had softball available was definitely a perk.
Right. What was it like, being, recruited by Coach Fuelling, who's a very unique individual himself?
Yes, he's very unique. I can remember him and Speranzi coming to one of my high school games, and I don't know. I was completely in the zone and just, catching and playing, and I don't really recall the conversation that we had after the game. I remember Speranzi said, "You have a cannon." That's really what I remember. So, I was a lot shyer back then, so just, I don't know, maybe a little just awestruck that someone would come watch me and, would want me after high school. It was nice. Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah, so when you got here, certainly that group that you played with, that freshman group, I think, Elaine is in the Hall of Fame, Melissa's in the Hall of Fame, Liz McGrail's in the Hall of Fame.
Allison Weller.
Yeah, so you've got quite a few players that you came, when you came into the program, they already had established, or even just that next group of players that Coach Fuelling felt probably could be pretty good. So what did that feel like?
Oh, man, that was great. I definitely recognized the level of talent that each of them had. So just being a part of that was a blessing in itself, and the camaraderie, and things were just great. It was a smooth transition.
Right. And so what were the expectations? Here you are, the freshman, and, Coach Fuelling put you right behind the plate, day one, and now you're catching Allison Weller, and, who's pretty special pitcher. Yeah. What was that like?
Oh, I feel like it was no big difference coming from high school, because I came from a pretty strong program, and having the opportunity to play summer ball and playing against top-notch girls, I wasn't intimidated at all. I was welcoming the chance to catch for her, and The big difference between high school and college for me was in high school, I would refer to my coach for signs and kind of learn the game and learn the batters. Flu, he just let me go. He would go. And I really believe I developed a lot more confidence and independence behind the plate because he let me just go and call the pitches. And, it was great because Beebs, we called her Beebs, she just was a strong pitcher and she knew what she was doing and she trusted me. So we had that great pitcher-catcher battery relationship there.
Right, which is important if you want to have any success. So certainly, do you have, what are some of the memories that you have from some of those years and some of those teams?
I remember freshman year fall ball, we went to West Point, so I was like, okay, we're kind of back home. And I didn't start catching right away. I was in the outfield. It was, I think Flu was just trying to figure out, where put me best. And I remember one of my first at-bats, I believe it was against Carolyn Kopka, who was a former Minnesota graduate like myself. And I remember one specific at-bat, and I was just so excited, just to mention that. But changeup came in, and I went around to hit it like a regular fastball, and I pulled my bat back and then just laid a little bunt down, and I beat it out. I tripped over first base, of course, so great, my debut, I fall. But I can remember that at-bat, and I don't remember getting, many hits in the outfield. But then Flu gave me a chance to catch, and that was the moment that he was like, okay, you're it, you're going to catch, you're behind the plate every game. So that was, freshman year, and just the memories of traveling down south somewhere in the good old O-State van, just building relationships with teammates. Oh my gosh, I remember my one and only home run over the fence. It was my freshman or sophomore year. I'd have to look back. I have the signed ball, 98. It was freshman year. And I just remember playing some Floridian team, and pitch came in low and inside, and I just teed off, and it felt effortless. Like I barely put any muscle behind it, and it just shot. And I was just like, I was in shock because I wasn't a home run hitter, and it just flew off the bat, and I was like, oh my gosh, one and only, got the game ball. That was great. Oh my gosh. And of course, spring of sophomore year, when Allison Weller was a senior and we won SUNYACs, that last ball that I caught in my glove, it was the end. And oh my gosh, a big celebration. And of course, when we went to Ithaca, my senior year, and lost to Ithaca, but that was just great all around. It didn't matter. I didn't care if we won or lost. It was just great to have that level of competition. Right. I mean, it would have been nice to win, obviously, but oh my goodness. And then winning the SUNYACs senior year, kind of going out of order, but
that's all right.
Just
of course, Liz McGrail sends along her congratulations and hello as well. And I was like, do you have any stories or memories of Andrea? And she was talking about this one instance where I guess either a bunt was laid down and you went to throw the ball to first base to get somebody out, and Beth Oppenheimer was covering, and she just ducked, and it hit her in the head or something, and Liz thought it sounded like the sound it made sounded like it hit like a batting helmet or something.
I might have. I know I pegged Missy Labar in the back at practice. She took a lead off third, and I just whacked it, and it just hit her in the back. And I was like, I'm sorry. She was in line. She was in the line. That was fun, throwing out runners, of course. But,
and she was talking about the you trips down south with Flu in his the Winnebago or whatever, the camper.
And then the dogs and the dog hair, whatever, that was life. But oh my gosh, I know. Just
good times though.
Yes, I think they're very unique. I don't think any other team would have those kinds of memories in any other school, honestly. Oh, yeah, tell her I said hello. If you see her, I don't know what she's up to, but
She's actually our head women's soccer coach.
get out of here. How long
Yeah.
has she been doing that?
She's been here for more than a dozen years now.
Oh my gosh, because I know Tracy Ranieri, she
Just retired.
retired.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had no idea Liz took the reins. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
when
Wonderful.
Tracy became the athletic director, Liz was hired as the
Yeah.
women's soccer coach.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah,
That's
she's been
great.
doing a nice
It
job.
felt-
This
bet.
year, this year she kind of struggled a little bit, but she has some pretty good young players. I think a lot of teams struggled due to COVID and having a year off, and
Everyone's been set back in
yeah, it's
some
been
way.
pretty brutal. And for you, maybe we can transition a little bit into you've been in as a school teacher for the last 20 years, right?
Yeah, it's my 20th will start January 2nd.
Yeah, and you've been
I've been in the same building, yes.
Yes, and you've been teaching elementary and kindergarten?
Yeah, I started, I don't know if you want to know, you can edit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I student taught second grade there in the fall of '01. I actually stayed for another semester to earn my coaching credits. So that forced me to graduate in December, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
But I student taught at Maple Hill, and then I went to another neighboring district for sixth grade. And my cooperating teacher, she was like, Andrea, we have a position open. You should go for it. And I was like, okay. And it was my first interview ever. And I'm honest and I'm humbled when I say that I bombed the interview. They passed me along, but the principals wanted me, and they passed me along to the Board of Education, and I bombed it. But they wanted me, so I was grateful for the opportunity. And I started as a second grade grant reading teacher. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what I was doing. I was lucky to have these veteran teachers all around me to guide me.
Yeah.
Not saying that Oneonta did not prepare me well, it's just in that particular position, I was like, so I did the 6 months there. And then that spring, my principal at the time was like, okay, we want you as a fourth grade teacher. And we have 4 wings in my building, red, yellow, blue, and green. She said, do you want to be green or blue? And I said green. And I taught fourth grade for 9 years before having my first child, and then came back after a year of maternity for another year of fourth grade, and then had our second child, a year off. And then while I was on maternity, they sent a survey out because a new elementary building was due to open in the fall of 2013. And they sent a survey out, what do you teach? What do you qualify in? What was the last grade that you taught? What would you like to teach for the 2013-14 school year? And I just remember staring, and I was like, I just clicked K. Prior to having my own children, I was like, oh gosh, the thought of like bending over to tie shoelaces all day and snotty noses and accidents, I was like not interested. But for some reason, I think my kids having my own, it didn't matter anymore. Like I was covered in baby. So yeah, I was, this is my 8th year teaching kindergarten. So, I mean, technically I have 17, with the 3 years of maternity, I add that, so it'll be 20.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah, kindergarten for almost as long as I taught fourth grade, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's great. I don't mind tying shoelaces or say, go get a tissue for that, or okay. They're sponges at that age, so
yeah.
it's great.
So I mean, obviously, in our time here with the COVID and the pandemic, and certainly school has changed a lot. How do you think being a student athlete helped you manage this time?
Well, I can tell you with certainty that if I didn't have softball as an outlet, I probably wouldn't have done that well with academics. So I had to learn a balance. If I wanted to play, I needed to keep my grades up.
Yeah.
And if I really didn't have softball, I don't know. I mean, I'm very grateful to have been blessed with the ability to play softball. So Oneonta having softball, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I was able to balance and learn to kind of be more independent because, coming from the Westtown, Middletown area, family all around. And I mean, granted, it was only 2 hours away, but learning to be independent and balance not only the academics, the athletics, but a checkbook, all of that comes into play. So, you know, referring to last year and the craziness of teaching both virtually and in person, you know, I think Oneonta had a lot to do. It had a lot to do with preparing me. When I really stop and think about it, I didn't just go through the motions. You know, I had to learn and adapt. So last year, being one of the toughest years ever teaching, I had to learn and adapt.
Right.
So.
And
I hope I answered the question. I feel like I went off on a tangent.
No. This is the kind of conversation, because obviously people are, you know, that are going to be listening, you know, they want to get to know a little bit more about you. And certainly as a school teacher, you know, this has been a trying time for even us here at the college, you know, trying to deal with what we had to go through.
Of
But
course.
from your perspective, you know, being there in the moment, you know, just to be able to share that. So I appreciate that. So are there any other, you know, maybe not so much on the field, but, you know, off the field memories from Oneonta?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just immediately thought of living off campus. I was fortunate enough to rent a house with Hillary.
Oh, Hillary
Schaefer. Yes, Hillary Schaefer, Missy, and Carrie Andino would always come over. So just hanging out with them there. Post-graduation, the four of us plus another, her name was Vanessa, and she played tennis for, I think, maybe the first 2 years of college. We communicated a lot, and you know, just lives got busy. Thank God for Facebook, honestly, because I, you know, was able to reconnect with them, and you know, I would love to see them again. But it's nice to be able to just kind of chat briefly through Facebook and see how our lives are changing. Like we have families, and you know, we're getting older, and it's just nice to be able to have that outlet.
Right. I saw when we had John Speranzi's, when he was inducted into our Hall of Fame, they had a little reception for him, you know, and I stopped in or whatever, and it was great to see some of the past players.
I saw pictures on Facebook.
I know, really. Did you? They must have posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook about that.
There were a few, I don't know if any were incriminating, but no, the ones I saw were nice. Just it was nice smiles and
you know, and I think, you know, to appreciate someone like John Speranzi, who had been associated, you know, he's still with us. You know, he still does come around. He still offers his words of advice. You know how he is. You know, like the way.
Yes, I remember.
But you know what? It's just truthful. You know, John's a truthful guy, and he will tell you like it is. But he does care, and I think that was, you know. I think it was a good balance between Flew and John. You know, you had Flew who, you know, I think most of the time he just said, "Here, John, you deal with the players." You know what I'm saying? And so I think.
Well, he has a daughter, and I mean, she was a lot younger at the time, Marissa. Right. So he had the girl experience, I suppose.
Right, and Flew, all he had was sons.
So he was like, I remember, like, oh, go. John, go.
But, you know, I mean, do you have any special thank yous you'd like to send to anyone as we get kind of closed down here? But is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, first and foremost, I thank God, because without him, this wouldn't have happened. But I thank my parents, my family for fostering the work ethic that I needed to do well throughout my softball career here, and then of course in college, you know, Flew, hi Flew, Speranzi, thank you, and Tom Optenbrow.
Yes, Tom Optenbrow, yep.
Yeah, I don't. Last I knew, he was in Kentucky. So thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
If you are seeing this, watching this, thank you. All of my teammates. All the parents of teammates, because they were supporting us, you know, at home games and those who could make the away games. My professors, counselors, everyone, just thank you, because I don't think that we would be here in this moment right now if all of these people weren't in my path along the way.
Right.
And you, Jeff, of course.
Yeah. So I have 5 questions that I'd like to ask you, just to just give me the first things that pop into your head. What's your favorite meal?
Eggplant parmesan.
Oh my God, do I love eggplant parmesan. We're going to have to make sure that's on the menu in June.
Yes.
So, what's your favorite movie?
Goonies.
Goonies. Oh, that's
Yes.
a classic.
It is.
And my sons love that movie. So the next one is, what's your favorite genre of music?
Oh, I enjoy all kinds of music. I really do. I can tell you what I don't prefer. I don't really prefer country. I'm a mixed bag. I like.
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I like a lot.
Okay, that's good. And who's your favorite athlete all time?
All-time athlete of, oh my gosh. I love Michael Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's
Michael
the first
Jordan.
one that
Okay, that's a popular choice. I mean, he certainly was one of the greatest.
Yeah.
And the place you would most like to visit?
Oh man, nothing's coming to my mind right away. All right, I want to visit an African safari with my family. I want to see the animals.
Wow.
I want to do that.
I think that's the first one. That's the first time someone said that. That's pretty good. I hope you get to do that someday.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
So listen, once again, congratulations. Certainly a well-deserved honor. You know, Liz and I were talking the other day as well about how many players on that 2001 team are in the Hall of Fame. And
Impressive,
I think we almost have the entire infield. The only one missing is Tara Hinkle,
Yes,
who
but
played first
I
base.
hope she gets a
She
chance.
is on the ballot, and I keep pushing for her, and so hopefully we'll get her in. And there's a couple of outfielders, Kelly Winnie.
Yes.
is
Speed
one.
demon. He could
Yeah.
run. He
Yeah.
could run.
So we'll see. You know, we'll see. Maybe we'll get all 9 of yous in at one time, and we'll see. But
That would be amazing.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, listen, congratulations again, and certainly we look forward to seeing you in June, and certainly have a great holiday season.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank my guest, Hall of Famer Andrea Bradford Decker, for joining me on today's show. And as always, I'd like to thank you for watching and listening. And please remember that you can download the audio portion of this episode to your smart devices from our website. And you can also watch the video on our YouTube channel. So until next time, thank you, and we'll see you next time in the Ozone.